Hi everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Robbie's Backstage Bants. Today I am joined by the lovely Hazel Karooma-Brooker, who is best known for playing Anne Boleyn in the original NCL Bliss cast of Six the Musical. So welcome, Hazel.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm not bad at all. All the better for speaking to you, obviously. Yeah, just great to have you here, honestly. Been waiting for this
Glad
one.
to be here.
So the way I'm starting off today is by asking you the question: what is the journey of how you got to where you are today?
Oh, that's a broad question.
Isn't it just?
I don't know. What do you want to know? Which part of this journey? It's been a long 22
Everything.
years. Okay, if you really want everything, I'll give you like an abridged version of my life.
Thank you. Sit tight, everyone.
So rewind back to when I was 4 years old and I started ballet, and I started dancing when I was probably about 4. And then I was singing in like my school choir. So I've always been singing and dancing, and then I quit everything when I was 11 because we moved to Uganda. And while I was out there, I began singing properly. Started with jazz, and we did like amateur pantos, which was really fun. I think I was in Shrekarella, which is what it sounds like. It's
That's
Shrek
amazing.
and Cinderella.
Where's that been all my life?
I know, it was actually kind of fun. It was, can't lie about it. So that was like my introduction to musical theatre, and then I got to like the end of my GCSEs, and we were like, right, what am I gonna do with the rest of my school life? And I was like, I want to sing, dance, and act. Googled it. Turns out that's musical theatre. Who knew?
Who knew?
And ended up auditioning for a couple of schools, and that's how I ended up doing a musical theatre BTEC. And from there, auditioned for the Brighton Academy. Got it. I auditioned for other schools as well, but obviously I went to the Brighton Academy, so throw all the other ones away.
Bye.
Don't need you. Did a musical theatre diploma at the Brighton Academy, and graduated last year. And I was auditioning as I was finishing my year at college, so that's how I like got the job of 6 at the set. Like, I got cast while I was still ungraduated. If that makes sense. And then, I mean, there's a whole story about how I got specifically Anne Boleyn on the Bliss.
I mean, I'm sure we'll end up getting into that eventually. Yeah,
that's kind of how I ended up getting here. Got 6 because I got out of college, and here we are in a pandemic.
Here we are. Yep, 2020. What a year. So do you have any other like career paths that you were thinking of going down and you didn't, or was it always, I want to do this?
I think it was always going to end up being something in music. I play the piano, and I used to take instrument lessons at primary school. Like, I used to do clarinet. So it was probably always going to be something musical. But I spectacularly failed my GCSE mocks. So at that point we were like, right, we need to find a career that's not academic. So it was always going to be something like that.
Oops. Well, I mean, musical theatre is just incredible, so I can see why you went down that path.
It rocks.
And I mean, you're obviously talented and you can do it, so why not? So now we're going to just head into a basic chat through your career. So training, what is that like then? From like what is training like? What do you learn? What do you do? What is it like?
Could kind of start at the BTEC level, because if you're like me and you don't like academics because you're dyslexic or you just don't like it, doing a BTEC in something is a really amazing choice, because it doesn't have to be like heavily academic. Like, I think there was something where we were going to have to write like a long essay, and they actually changed it for us and made it a podcast. So we did a podcast about like a chorus line. It was really cool.
That's so cool.
It was really, really fun. So gonna put that one out there for anybody who's like 6th form age. Do a BTEC. It's awesome. especially if you go to the right college. Gonna plug LCPA, London College of Performing Arts. Just saying, they're amazing. You should go there. They do BTECs in dance, musical theatre, and acting now, I think. Yeah, they're really, really good. Highly recommend. And then it was through them that I actually got the audition for the Brighton Academy, because the people in charge there knew one of the principals at the Brighton Academy. They were in shows together.
Oh.
Isn't it nice to be in the West End? Yeah, and it kind of then, you can, like, age 18 quit, and like if you know how to get into the business, do it then if you think that you're good enough.
Do it.
Yeah, I think it's always sort of thought that there's like one path, but there isn't. You can do college if you want. You don't have to do college if you don't want to, especially as college is so expensive. I will rep the Brighton Academy. When I went there, they were 6,000 a year, which is like the combined money for all 3 years of going there is like how much it costs for one singular year at some colleges.
No, thank
I know
you.
it really hurts. Oh, but I mean, having said that, you can go to any college and get scholarships and grants and stuff. So there's always that. College itself is hard. It's an understatement. But I learned so much. Like, I attribute all of my like current dance level to the intense training I got for 3 years. Like, particularly on the musical theatre course at the Brighton Academy, they like half your week is dance. So you will be trained within an inch of your life. Yeah, and it's kind of like, if you're going to choose to go to college, you have to take on the mindset of the college and like leave everything you've done before behind, and like it's almost like you're starting fresh. And they do teach you, like, there are some things that you learn at college which you might not have learned in real life, such as like audition etiquette, and like, just, it sounds like obvious, but being like a nice person like all the time.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you're going to bump into. And if you're the kind of person who's a bit like absent-minded, like, you might not be aware of how you're coming across. I definitely learned a bit of that at college. And obviously they train you to act and to sing as well. So
Yeah.
I can't put that down. But I will say to anybody who's going to college, like, it is exciting, and it is like really good. And in my opinion, was definitely worth my time. But like, it's hard. Like, prepare for it to be some of the
Very
hardest
difficult.
times of your life. And then once you get out and you start to kind of get into the industry, you understand a bit why it was hard. But you also get to relax a bit, because, at least in my experience, everyone's pretty nice. So
Well, everyone
there's
seems
that.
pretty nice. Yeah. It looks like it'll be all right. And then obviously you went straight from Brighton Academy to Six.
I did.
So what were the auditions like? Who were you in for in the auditions to begin with?
So my first audition was it was a private audition in March, I want to say, end of March, last year.
Yeah.
And I went in and we got to choose our own songs. So I sang Aretha Franklin's Think, which was like my like song at the time that I was singing like practically every day. So I went in, they made me sing it 4 times in the room. 4 times. And then I got a recall straight from that, and I was up for Aragon and Par. So I think about a week later I had that recall, and it was first a dance round, which I made it through. Then they had like an acting round, and then they called us up in like the groups of the characters. So I went up with the Aragon group and cracked when I sang No Way.
Wow.
I cracked. And then when I came downstairs, James Pearson, the lovely James Pearson, came and was like, "We won't be seeing you anymore today, but thank you so much." And I was like, "Okay, bye." So that was the end of my run for the West End and the tour. But then the cruise auditions came up on Spotlight, and I texted my agent. I was like, "Please, I want to be put up for the cruise." And she was like, "I've already done it." And I was like, "Yes." And that was an intense day. I think we had like 2 or 3 dance rounds with like either 3 or 4 routines, and then at the end of the day we had to sing 2 songs from a list that they'd given us.
Ooh.
I went in and I was like, I'm going to be singing Power by Little Mix, and James went, no you're not. And I sort of went, okay. He was like, what else have you got? I've got No One by Alicia Keys. Yes, lovely. And they like Pearson Casting, especially when it comes to Six, because it's a concert in it. They really want you to be like really like personal with the audience. So they like pulled up a chair and sat it right in front of the table where they all were. And they were like, we want you to like make us cry. And I was like,
Oh.
no pressure.
Yeah.
They really want the eye contact. I was like, no one. Made it through that though. About a week later I heard that I got a recall, and then so 2 weeks after the initial audition we had 1 recall, a day off, and then 2 like full-on days, like 1 workshop day and then the final.
Wow.
And the final was like 10 people on the panel. Scary business.
Yeah.
And then after that it was like silence. Like once you've gotten to the final and you're waiting to hear whether or not you got it, like nothing is scarier. Like the 5 days in between, I was like, oh, I'm not
the longest 5 days of your life,
literally. And then I got an email from my agent. I'd got rehearsal swing, which is what Laurie and Amy were in my cast. So that's what I was meant to be initially, rehearsal swing, and then skip about 4 or 5 weeks while I did college, and I was like going through all the processes you have to do to get on a ship. And I think the week before my graduation I had an extra audition for Aragon and for Berlin. And at the end of that day I got offered Berlin on the breakaway, so that's the ship I would have been on. I know. And then plot twist, about a week and a half later I was on holiday with my mum, as you do, and I got a phone call from my agent going, something's happened to the girl who's meant to be playing Berlin on the Bliss, so they want you to be Berlin on the Bliss. And I was like, yes.
Good.
So that was how I ended up being Berlin on the Bliss. That was how I got there.
Wow, that is a story and a half.
I know. I had 3 different contracts.
That was quite an interesting set of events. Didn't expect that. So the audition process is quite long then?
If it's just like the cruise process, I'd say the cruise process lasted maybe just over 2 weeks.
Oh, right.
And between the first audition and finding out, it must have been only about 3 weeks.
It's quite good.
So yeah, not too bad.
So like when you got Anne Boleyn, did you research her at all, or did you just go in and go from the script?
What in the audition or in the rehearsals?
When just from when you're in rehearsals, did you research anything about Anne Boleyn herself, or?
I mean, I kind of knew a bit already because obviously coming through like the British education system, and I did give her a bit of a Google. But when you get there, the first like half week is like all research. And like we got given a documentary to go home and watch at the end of the day, and we like got to talk about the character with like some of the directors. So like we get proper in-depth with the character's history and then the character in the show. Yeah.
Tudor history is always so fascinating, and then when you put it with Six and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. And then you can go to like a museum and be like, sing Six at them, and they will be confused. But
my favorite bit is coming across people who think they know Tudor history, and they don't, and they try and tell you about the queens and like how terrible they were, and I'm like, I'm sorry that your life has been manipulated by these male historians.
By Henry. Sorry, but here's some tickets to Six, so just come on over and yeah, there you go. So what was it like performing on a cruise ship then? What's it like?
I really liked it. It's not this. It has different challenges, I would assume, from performing on land. Obviously, on the West End, the girls are doing like, what is it, like 9 shows a week, whereas we were only doing 4.
That's nice.
Which is it's kind of mellow. It would be more mellow if they were a bit spread out, but it's 2 shows, 7:30, 10:30, and then if you're doing only a 1 week cruise, it's 7:30, 10:30, and then the very next day 7:30, 10:30. So it's 2 double shows back to back, and that is a killer. I
But
won't lie
that's all
about
you.
it.
But that's all your entire week. So that's quite bliss, as you would say.
Yeah, it is in that respect. It is quite nice.
I
And then
bet.
sometimes we have rehearsals towards the end of the week, so that's nice. Just
Um,
keep the pot simmering.
keep it going. Yeah. Did you get seasickness when you were on, or was you completely fine?
I didn't. I don't. I think maybe in the whole cruise, I maybe got a bit seasick, maybe twice.
All right.
Um, but the same cannot be said for everybody. So I think some people are just more prone to seasickness than others. And we were really kind of unfortunate that they put 6 right at the beginning of the cruise. Usually when we're sailing out of New York, and so the weather is super choppy. So
Oh,
we're like barely walking in a straight line, barely walking.
getting up them stairs must be.
uh, the worst part is like walking down the stairs, and you've got to be like, or like,
I
and
can
then you
do this.
trip, and you trip. You just have to pretend it didn't happen, or you see someone else trip through the corner of your eye, and you're like.
Were there any other on stage mishaps then that just sort of went on around?
We had loads. Like they weren't that frequent, but considering how long we were on the ship, we did have a few. Some include we've had several where people have either fallen off the steps or where we couldn't see the steps, and so instead of like risking it for a biscuit and like taking a step down, you just sort of leap over the stairs, which is about as fun as it sounds.
Yeah, in heels.
In heels, and you just like hope for the best, like pray and leap.
Perfect landing.
What else have we had? We've had roughs falling off. There's a clip going around somewhere at the minute of Sophie's ruff falling off in House of Holbein. Yeah. In fact, I think it happened again in our last show, and
Oh,
like we were probably getting hyped, and it just fell off. But I've never seen anybody kick something with such precision. She kicked it, and it whacked across the stage and onto the floor. Amazing.
stuff a good in her kicking. Yeah.
That same night, Sophie's mic went out as we were doing like the scene in House of Holbein, and she's meant to be standing at the top of the stairs, being like, "Oh, it's me,
Me.
Anna of Cleves." And instead, her mic went dead, and so we're all going, "Oh, we can't. What's happening?" And so she's prepared to like run off stage and go and get her mic fixed. So we're waiting for the next like swipe sound effect, and as we're all going, nothing happened. Silence. Like something had gone wrong with the sound effect. So we're all going,
No.
and every single one of us, you can hear the cogs in our brain going, crap, what do we do
we do?
next? And meanwhile, Sophie just bolts off stage. She's like, I don't have time. I have to get my mic fixed before my song. And then Caitlin goes, okay, next. And as we're talking about Cleves, we're like, she's so beautiful and she's from Germany and oh, we love her. And there's nobody there. Like the spotlight's there. There's no one. It's empty.
Oh.
And we've also had a Chucky doll incident. That was fun.
What?
Have you not heard of the Chucky doll incident?
I've not heard of this one.
This was in our last week on the ship. It might even have been our like 7:30 on our last night. A child bought a doll that was probably about, so I don't know, you can't see my hand, but it was a fairly like tall doll from the lap to up here.
Oh.
And sat it in the front row on stage left, and like I think it was the either the kid or the parent was like making it swivel its head to like watch us, like this doll. It wasn't a real Chucky doll,
No.
but it was like a doll, and it was a good like 2 feet in height. And yeah, we were all like, as we all sort of got a glimpse of it, we were like,
what's going on here? Must have been so hard to keep a straight face with that as well.
I think Sophie was the one who nearly cracked. I think V and Candy were a little bit like, oh, shaken. I thought it was funny, but I didn't actually notice it until halfway through the show. Whereas I think Candy noticed it as she was walking across at the beginning of No Way.
Yeah.
So that then does what to your show?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely terrifying. No more of that. Absolutely not. So would you ever audition for Six again? Would you want to go back in, or was that Six done now?
Nah, I'm happy to do 6 again. I'm ready to do 6 again, yeah,
I'd like to
definitely.
do Six again.
I'd love to have a crack at another character as well.
Who would you go for?
I'd love, ideally, like, I think my second favorite character is Aragon. But I'd love to be a Cleves or a Parr as well. They're just, Parr, Cleves is so much fun. Like, I would just have a banterful time, and honestly, I'm about that. And Parr, I love her song, and also she's just so chill throughout the whole show. And then she just comes in and she whacks out the feminist movement like it's nothing, you know?
Well, yeah, just go for it. So I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff through there.
Yeah.
So I think now we should move on to the fans' questions, the 5 fans' questions. Your first one's quite nice, actually. Shannon has asked, "What is the most sentimental gift you've ever received?" I don't know where
Ooh,
it came from, but it's a good question.
most sentimental gift. What, like, I don't know. I think I've had lots of gifts that like really mean a lot to me. Um, most sentimental. Hmm. I don't know, you know. I think maybe my most like treasured and important gifts are I've got a piano downstairs that was given to me by um like my great uncle and my great aunt.
Um,
And that's really nice. And I've got a keyboard that traveled with me when I lived in Brighton. And I got that from my parents for my 19th birthday, and that's a really special present because that's something that I can take everywhere, and also it matches my aesthetic of white walls and white furniture.
well, there you go. That's a really good. I love them. That's good gifts. Lily asks if you could be in any other production of Six, which would it be?
Ooh,
Which one you
is this
going for?
like to like stand in with that particular cast?
I don't know. Or bring your own. Bring bring your own.
Ooh, like pick a mix, make your own
You
cast.
can mix it.
Well, I think I would be biased, so I don't think I should make my own cast. I think I'll just
Don't
insert myself into a
just
cast.
pick yourself in, kick someone out.
Um, oh, it's a really hard question. See, some of my favorite people in the cast are the Boleyns, and I don't want to like
Yeah, no.
remove them. I like just can I be the second one, the second Boleyn, and just like
You can
either the
be every other
Australian
day.
cast or the broadcast or the Broadway cast rather.
Ooh.
They're fun casts.
They,
Also, they have different accents, so that's fun.
I love that. Yeah. Also, another one I would like to see you take a crack at is the UK tour.
Yeah.
One, because that cast. Two,
Can we take a
because
moment to like silently respect Lauren Drew and her No Way? Like,
beautiful stuff. The Queen.
an actual queen.
We're literally there. You go. When's she getting her coronation? I confused.
She needs a knighthood for that.
She does. Get Lauren Drew a knighthood. And I just think that'd be great to see you among them as well. That'd be. And then
Yeah.
what's better than that is that you would actually, I would get to see you, which is just
There's also that. If I was on this particular piece of land, more people would see
yeah,
me.
more people. Just this piece of land here. Trevor has asked if you forget your lines on stage, what do you do?
You don't panic is the professional person
Don't
in
panic.
me telling you what to do. Um, I don't think anybody in my cast has had such a bad line flop as me the first night Toby came to watch the show.
Oh no.
And like Anne Boleyn has that whole like speech kind of towards the end.
Yeah.
And I just have never blanked so hard in my life. I just like completely went, my brain just shut down. And I kind of played it off because she's meant to be like super ditzy. And like I was like trying to, in my brain I was going, what's the first word, and Candy's like trying to tell me what the words are, and I'm like, no, I need to go back to the beginning. I like full on what felt like 3 whole minutes in reality was probably only about 10 seconds at best. My brain's going, oh, crap, ding. I got it in the end, but it was, wow, embarrassment central in front of the writer.
No, that stresses me out too much. I can't.
No, it was.
Emily asks, what is your favorite memory from 6?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Isn't it just, people just go really rough on all the 6 queens. People just go all out.
Yeah, right. They want to know all of the in-depth information that I've like logged way back in the backlog of my brain.
I want to know.
What's my favorite memory? Oh God, that's really hard. I've told this story a couple of times, but there was an incident where Candy's eyelash came unstuck on a beat, and just as I was like staring her in the face, and I was meant to be really serious and really angry, and it just went dun dun ping, and that made me laugh. I don't know, probably I'd have to say my most treasured memory is probably our final Mega 6 when we brought Nat and Laurie on.
Oh.
That was really nice. Yeah.
It's one of the best ones to watch. I love all the like final cast change ones and stuff like that when it's just everyone's there. It's the best.
Yeah.
Best kind of Mega 6. And Sophie asks, which queen's costume is your favorite?
I think I've had a phase through practically every single costume where
haven't we all
of them are the best. At first I really wanted the Howard costume because it's pink, what can I say. And then I think the Aragon costume looks amazing, particularly on JJ and on Candy. I don't know why, it just looks amazing on them.
It does.
But I think my favorite probably has to be the Seymour costume, because A, she looks like a dragon fairy princess, and B, underneath the lights, when we're sat watching Seymour do her song and all the lights are on her and her shoes are sparkling and her costume's like all rainbow glitter, I'm like, so that's my favorite one.
Yeah, give me that one, please. Thank you. Okay, so now you've made it through the fans' questions.
Yes.
So now it's time for the dreaded How Well Do You Know 6 quiz.
Oh God, it's been 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. And there's 5 questions. Are you ready?
6.
Are you ready? Hazel, here we go.
Let's go.
How many songs were in the studio cast recording of 6?
How many songs?
In the studio cast recording, not necessarily the show.
In the studio cast recording, there's 9, I want to say.
Yes, there is. Do you know what? I'm going to give you a tick. I'm going to put a tick on that. Well done. Obviously, one of the songs that is not in the studio cast recording is one of my favorites. It's actually one of your songs.
Yeah.
My favorite forward song.
Classic one that got cut. I really want to hear, the alternate par song. Like when they're going to drop into like her Beyonce style number and then she cuts everybody off. I really want to know, like, if there was a full version of that, what does it sound like? I want to know.
Lucy, tell us, please. All right, so the second one is to finish the lyric. You should get this one because you have some. You're quite friendly with Aragon. The lyric is, "You say it's a pity cause."
You say it's a pity because quoting Leviticus, I'll end up Katie-less all my life.
There you go, and that is a little taster of Hazel Aragon right there.
Tiny.
A little something. That's another one. That's 2 out of 2 so far. All right, question 3. Dun, dun, dun. Where was 6 first performed? The easiest question in the world.
Where was Six first performed?
Yes, where? Don't. You don't need to do when. That's never happening.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like a dum-dum. It's performed like everywhere. It was a
Somewhere.
university production first, wasn't it?
Yes. And then they went up to the Fringe.
Yeah, then it went up to the Fringe.
Yeah. Look at you. You got your Six knowledge. Here's another one. Who speaks the line, "We've got riffs to ruffle your ruffs"?
Aragon.
Yes.
Yes.
And this one is one that I had to dig for.
Oh no.
What was the date of the first Bliss performance of Six? You can either give me previews or opening night, whichever one. I'll take either.
Oh crap! I'd have to like get my calendar out.
I mean, you can if you want to. I can't say that's
Kinda
cheating.
cheat sheet, but I'm gonna do it. It's fine. It's fine.
Shh.
I bet I'll get my calendar out and I'll get it wrong.
Your calendar
my
just
luck.
won't be there.
Okay, September 2019. When did we travel to the ship? Okay, that was the first week. That was the second week. Okay, that's hard. I want to say opening night was Friday the 6th, but I also am not sure.
I got opening night down as the 9th.
The
But then
9th?
this is when all the Mega Sixes were around, so it could have been.
Ah, I see.
Or yeah, and I read somewhere that you're on the ship from the 1st of September.
That's also not quite correct. I think we joined the ship on the 25th of August, according to my memory, because it was a Sunday. And then we had the final week of August, we rehearsed, and then the first week of September was rehearsals, and then it was like 11:30 on a Thursday night that we did our preview for the crew. And then I think it was Friday, Saturday we performed. So we performed 3 days in a row. 5 shows in 3 days.
There you go.
Woo!
I mean, you need the correct answer when neither of us can find it.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the best quiz of all. There's no answer to the question. It was just a hoax this whole time. Right, well, you've made it through. But we do have a little special announcement to make. I'm going to leave this one to you.
We do. Okay, wow, I'm not very good at announcements, so I'm just going to do my best. We may or may not, and by may or may not, I mean we do, have a little concert of mine, which should be coming out. Hopefully we've got an announcement by the time that this goes up of a date. But yes, I'll be doing a concert, and it'll be like pay for a ticket and then watch me sing.
And then you get to watch it.
And that was why I was secretly asking for song suggestions the other day. So hopefully some of those will be in there if you suggested a song.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
It might be there. Who knows? I hope no one asks you to do all you want to do just for your sake.
Oh no, it's not happening. Did get a lot of requests for "Don't Lose Your Head." So if you pray really, really hard,
keep praying down there in the comments. Pray on your knees. Might. You'll have to see. But anyway, now all I want to really.
It gets into your conversation like that, like
Help.
all different parts of the script.
Help. I think I've lost my head. Right, I want to remind you all that we are trying to raise a little bit of money for Acting for Others. So anything you can give, get down there in the description and leave whatever you can because it's a good cause. And also check my social media, which is all down there as well, for who's coming next, which is really exciting. We're going to have new ones as often as I can get you them. And all that's left to do is thank Hazel for coming in. Thank you so much. It's been so lovely speaking to you. I'm so looking forward to that concert.
It should be good. It should be fun.
Should be.
It'll be like a radio show because I won't be getting any current feedback, but it'll be like this, but it's just on my own. But don't worry, I'm a pro at talking to myself. So
So make sure you stay on the social medias for more information on that. That's really exciting. Anyway, thank you so much for coming, and I'll thank everyone for watching. I'll see you later.
Bye.